Well, I became interested in the subject in 1949 when I heard of a case of possession while I was an undergraduate at Georgetown in Washington, D.C. And in this case, the paranormal manifestations, or the poltergeist activity, so-called, which often accompanies possession, in this case were authenticated. I mean, they were witnessed by psychiatrists in clinical surroundings, in fact, in Menninger.
What happened in this case, and what sort of a person was it?
Well, it was a young boy. It was a 14-year-old boy who began, apparently, I don't know if there's any connection, but he started out getting very deep into a Ouija board, and pretty soon he seemed to be in a state of absolute terror, complaining that he was being thrown out of his bed at night, and there were mysterious knockings in the room, and so on. Well, witnesses were posted in the room, and indeed the lateral ends of the bed were seen to be jerking up sufficiently and quickly enough to throw him out of the bed, rather than him throwing himself out unconsciously, as was suspected. And he was taken to Menninger Clinic and investigated by all kinds of psychiatrists. The poltergeist phenomena continued, and the boy was almost in a complete state of terror. And finally, as if he had been softened up for this by the poltergeist activity, he became possessed in the sense that his features were transformed, his voice was totally transformed. He claimed to be someone else, in fact, a demon or an evil spirit.
What happens here? The demon enters the body and the mind and virtually takes it over, takes both over?
Well, in this case, there are cases of pseudo-possession which are clearly attributable to mental or emotional disturbances. In this case, there was a total blacking out of the consciousness, so that when, after 2 months of exorcism, the boy recovered, fortunately, there was not only no memory of what had happened, but he had never apparently been conscious at any point while it was happening. It's as though his consciousness was simply absent all through the state of possession.
In your book, the person possessed by a demon is an 11-year-old girl.
Yes, it is. I chose that to make it because the manifestations that normally occur in possession are all the more incongruous and startling when it's a little girl. This because of the change in the voice is more noticeable, and it then becomes that of a deep male bass voice. But also because the horrifying obscenities of speech and action, which are an invariable symptom of possession, are all the more horrifying to the reader.
How is exorcism, the removal of the demon from the person's mind and body, accomplished?
Well, it's a ritual of prayer. In the Catholic Church, it is a ritual of 10 pages of prayer that are repeated over and over until it takes effect. And this particular case, it took 2 months of this. There are forms of exorcism entirely apart, however, from any religious persuasion. I think in some areas of the world, the sound beating is the form of exorcism, on the theory that the spirit is now united to the body and therefore feels the pain and won't want to feel that very much pain for too long and will therefore leave.
This is going to make a very scary movie, isn't it?
Oh, I'm sure that it will. Warner's has purchased the rights, and I've written the screenplay, and I'm going to produce it.